and welcome to what I read in September. I read 5 books and I'm partway through a 6th book in September. So I'm just going to go through them and tell you what I thought about them all, and yeah, that's it really. Just going to go through them because I love watching these and I thought it might be fun. I'm going to talk about the one that I'm currently reading first, just to get this one out of the way, because it's technically not in what I read in September because it's not even done yet. I'm 83 pages in to 5 People We Meet in Heaven. I will try and invert this before I post it, so hopefully you can read that right, but it's 5 People You Meet in Heaven by Mitch Albom. I was recommended this by my lovely cousin. She loves this book, it's one of her favourites, and I am loving it so far. It's basically this guy who passes away and he meets 5 people on his way up to heaven basically, and he has a lesson to learn from each and every one of them, and I guess you get the same lesson from reading it as well. It's a lovely book. Ooh, yeah, it's a really nice book so far, so I will include it in my October Wrapped if you want to know what I fully thought about it. Next book is Boy Parts by Eliza. I read this whilst I was on holiday, so I literally read it in like a day, I think. It's just under 300 pages long, and I borrowed this one from a friend, so it's not actually my copy, but I really quite enjoyed reading this. It's very strange. I've not really read much like it before. The protagonist is not fun, let's just say that. She's quite unbearable to read because obviously it's all from her perspective. She's a photographer, which I didn't know that's what it was kind of going to be like. It's kind of like Skins vibes, and she's yeah, a photographer. She's unbearable. She really is. Yeah, if you liked my year of rest and relaxation, you will probably like this, but she's a bit more cringy, I think, than the protagonist in that book. I can't remember what her name is in that, but I read it, I flew through it. I give it like 4 stars. Really enjoyed it. Just very weird, so read trigger warnings before you decide to buy this or decide to read it if you are triggered by disturbing themes, because it is disturbing. Next, I read Storm Sister by Lucinda. These are in no particular order. I don't know if I mentioned that, but they are not in any particular order. This is the 2nd book in this series, and this is about Ali, the 2nd oldest sister. So basically the series is about 6 sisters, all adopted by one man, and he passes away, leaving them trails to be able to find where they came from if they wanted to. Not that they weren't allowed when he was alive. None of them ever asked or wanted to. They all knew they were adopted, but they just didn't care to know where they came from because they were very happy and they lived a very happy life. So basically each book is then about these sisters finding their way back home, I guess you might say, or to where they came from. So that's what this book is about. So this is about Ali's journey. Starts off quite traumatic, to be quite honest, which is maybe why it took me a while to get into. It's quite hard to read. No, quite not hard to read. It was quite hard for me to get into in the beginning, just because it flicks between her perspective, which is for like 150 pages, and then when you get that far in, it kind of then, when she starts to want to find out about her past or like where she came from, it then flicks to an ancestor of hers. But the first 150 pages, quite a lot happens for her personal life, so that was just quite traumatic. But it's a good read. I'll give it like 3.5, 4 stars. I preferred it to the first one, so yeah, I'm excited to read the 3rd one because I have that lined up next. There's 8 books in the series, so stay tuned because it's a long journey. Then I read Big Swiss by Beagin. This is one that I borrowed from the library, so get to your library, guys, because they have books like this and you can get them for free. And then if you like it, you can get it. But if you don't know if you're going to like it, it's not wasting a book. You know what I mean? Yeah, this was good. It's basically about a transcriber that works for a therapist, a sex therapist, and she falls in love with one of his patients. And that is basically what that's about. It's not really like anything I've read before. Read trigger warnings again, I would say, because it's quite disturbing in some areas. And not that much happens. So if you like a book where loads of stuff happens and you're constantly like, oh my god, it's not that kind of book. It's like, oh my god, in that way. I don't know. I read it quite quick. I read it in a couple of days, but it's just not like a page turner in that sense, like a shocking page turner. But yeah, it's very good. A bit strange. Very good. 4 stars, did I say? 3.5 stars, something like that. Then the last 2 books that I read are these 2. These are Heartless and Powerless in the Elsie Silver series. This is the 2nd and the 3rd book. I've not actually read the first book because I got these 2 for 50p each from the charity shop, so I've not gone out my way to find the first one. You don't need to read them in order basically, because they're all separate stories, but characters will interlink basically across the books, because it's one family of men and they're women. Oh god. Yeah, so if you like that kind of thing, it's romance, it's smut, it's trashy kind of vibe, it's easy to read, you don't have to think about anything, it's not going to change your life, but sometimes those books are necessary. I needed this one. When I read this one, I needed a book like this, just something that I didn't even have to think about. I could just, because I read every night before bed, I could just read it, close my eyes, go to sleep. But then when I read this one, I kind of needed something that was gonna give me something, and I've read the last 100 pages because the books are just like one in the same. They just are the same formula of story, and if you've read one, you've read them all. You know what I mean? But some people love that, and some people just only want to read that kind of thing, which if you do, you will love these books. I got them for 50p. You can't go wrong. I'm not disappointed that I read them, and I don't regret it, but I won't be going out my way to read the others. Let's just say that. I give them like 2 to 2.5 stars for both of them. I preferred this one, Heartless, but yeah, there we go. That's everything I read / am reading, if you count the last one, in September. Come back next month for my October wrap. It's my birthday next month, so I don't know what that relevance has to reading, but for some reason it feels like I might read more. The thing is, with these Storm, the sister books, oh god, I can't get through much in a month because they're 700 pages long. So cut me some slack. Yeah, but thanks for watching.